Dressed in loafs and khaki suits and ride is what we do. Flossing but have caution, we collide with other truths. Famous because we throw drams. Worldwide, let them recognize from Long Beach to Rosecrans. Bumping and grinding like a slow jam. It's West Side, so you know the road will bow down to no man. Say what you say, but give me that bomb beat from Drake.
So continuing on from last video, I talked about Biggie Smalls' Ready to Die, and you can't just finish off with talking about Biggie without mentioning Tupac, so that's why this video is on Tupac's All Eyez on Me. So this album, first thing I should say about this is that this album actually came out after Tupac died, and this album was recorded after Tupac just got out of prison. Like, he literally got out of prison and then recorded this album. Through listening to the songs of this album, you can kind of see like the overall tone of this album is that he was really angry and he was like kind of out seeking like vengeance towards people who have like backstabbed him and hurt him. Tupac also had like his own kind of definition for living the gangster life, which was thug life, and he really brands that throughout like his whole career. So he talks a lot about that in the first part of the album. So in the first part, you kind of see like the stereotypical West Coast themes of living like the commercialized, glamorized, laid back, luxurious gangster life. But however, in the second half of the album, you kind of get to see like the overall tone and theme and kind of idea of this album. He himself said that this album was more about him venting out his anger that he acquired, you know, after he was put into prison and while he was in prison. And you can see like a lot of themes within this album. It's his kind of like targeting the people from his past, people that have betrayed him, people that have backstabbed him. He's like really vengeful and angry, and he talks a lot about his like frustration. And like the title of this album, All Eyez on Me, it kind of reflects like what he's talking about with his songs. Like, he feels like he's being watched by the media or people that are out to get him, and he mentions a lot about like his enemies, whether they were old friends or like the people that were involved with putting him in jail and people who have started rumors about him. And of course, because it's Tupac, so the style of it is more poetic and personal, all while still having like that original kind of like West Coast like funk kind of style. But yeah, so this album is still probably like a huge landmark within hip hop, especially like this is probably known as being like a top West Coast hip hop album, and Tupac branded the West Coast image, especially because he has like, you can see like he's even pulling up the sign for West Coast right there, and like he really branded and started his own cult following through the thug life. Those two albums, Biggie Smalls and Tupac, like you can kind of see, because they define like the two genres and two sides of hip hop, it kind of made them like the most notable top like rappers to ever exist. And it's hard to have a conversation about hip hop without people ever like not mentioning Tupac and Biggie Smalls within the same sentence or within just in hip hop in general.